I mean, just imagine having literally the most peaceful, quiet, like completely anxiety-free morning of your entire life.
Right. Which is rare enough on its own.
Exactly. And then using that exact perfect moment to write a song about a total devastating emotional collapse.
It makes absolutely zero sense.
It really doesn't. That is the massive contradiction we're obsessing over today. So pull up a chair, grab your coffee, because you sitting here with us right now, we really need your help making sense of this. We've been poring over all this stuff all morning.
Yeah, we have this whole stack of sources here. Studio interviews, leaked production notes, and
Oddly enough, a French novel from the 1990s?
which is a wild combination.
Yeah.
But they all point back to this one specific track. Track 2 from Olivia Rodrigo's 2026 album.
Hmm.
Yeah, you seem pretty sad for a girl so in love.
Yeah, the track called Stupid Song.
Right. Which, if you've heard it, is, I mean, it is anything but a quiet morning.
Definitely not.
It is this loud, chaotic, frankly terrifying anthem about love just driving you completely insane. Like, the input is a moment of pure, crystalline serenity, but the output is a manic breakdown.
It's totally jarring.
So jarring. The gap between those two things is what, like, I just can't make sense of it.
See, I look at that gap and I see a psychological release valve. Like, it's actually deeply human.
A release valve. How so?
Well, think about what she was dealing with at the time. She's living in New York, severely anxious, constantly perceived by the public, right?
Yeah, cameras everywhere.
Always. Her baseline state is totally defensive. So when that anxiety finally dropped away for just like a couple of hours during this one quiet morning, all the suppressed, desperate longing she had been carrying just rushed in to fill the vacuum.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. The core of this song isn't the peace of the morning. It's the raw, terrifying human emotion of losing yourself to someone else that, finally had room to breathe.
Right.
It's the feeling of your internal emotional systems just giving out.
I have to interrupt you there because I really don't think this is just about some raw feeling, like passively washing over her.
You don't think it's emotional?
I mean, I do, but when you look at the production notes and the actual construction of the track, the madness isn't just felt. It is deliberately, meticulously built. It's an architectural choice.
Built how? Like
Yep.
musically?
Yes, musically. You have this beautiful, traditional piano ballad foundation,
Yeah.
right?
The acoustic piano.
But then she and her producer, Dan Negro, aggressively stitched these wildly different segments together. The chaos is structural. Like, it's built to sound like a breakdown.
Okay, but you can't build that architecture without an emotional blueprint, though. Like, the feeling has to dictate the structure.
Does it? Because look at the lyrics she uses to build that blueprint.
Yeah.
She doesn't use traditional emotional language to describe her state.
What do you mean?
She uses imagery of mechanical and physical systems failing.
Oh, right. The car lyric.
Exactly. She sings, "I'm a car speeding down the boulevard without a brake." That is a massive, heavy machine that has entirely lost its functional ability to stop. It's a literal disaster in motion.
Which is terrifying.
Totally. And then she sings, "I'm a heart made of wax and I'm melting in the sun." And "I'm a thread on your shirt that is coming undone."
Which are completely visceral, physical experiences.
Completely. A melting wax heart, an unraveling thread,
Yeah.
a runaway car. These aren't just, poetic metaphors for being a little sad.
No, they're intense.
They are deliberate, calculated depictions of a total loss of control. The actual structure of the object is disintegrating.
Okay, I hear that. But the reason those physical, structural metaphors hit so hard is because that is the psychological reality of being that deeply in love.
You think it physically feels like that?
Yes, it literally feels like your brakes are out. Remember that interview on our stack? She mentioned that the psychological inspiration for this specific lyricism was Annie Ernaux's book.
Oh, Simple Passion.
Right, Simple Passion.
The autobiographical novel about the affair.
Yes, but calling it just a book about an affair really doesn't do it justice. Like, at all.
Fair enough.
The entire premise of Ernaux's book isn't the joy or the sexiness of romance. It's about how love doesn't just make you happy.
Right, it makes you miserable.
It completely takes over your brain. The protagonist in that book isn't living a rom-com. She is pacing her apartment. She is buying specific clothes just in case he drops by.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
She describes time not in hours, but in the agonizing distance between his phone calls. She basically becomes completely detached from her own life.
It's a total suspension of self.
Exactly, a total suspension of self. And that brings us to the exact emotional reality of limerence.
Limerence. That's the key word here.
Yeah, and for you sitting here with us, if you aren't familiar with that term, Limerence isn't just having a really intense crush.
It's way darker than that.
Way darker. It is an involuntary neurochemical state. Your brain essentially short-circuits and starts treating another human being as a basic survival need, like water or oxygen.
That sounds exhausting.
It is. When you are in limerence, your cortisol spikes, your dopamine crashes and surges uncontrollably. Your own basic survival systems, like eating, sleeping, focusing on work, they literally do start to break down. You become a hostage to your own longing.
A hostage? That is such a specific word.
Yeah.
And it ties directly into a line in the first verse that has been bothering me all morning.
Oh, which line?
She sings, "They say that honest love is a cage that makes you feel free."
Oh, I love that line.
I mean, it's a great line, but I want to playfully poke at this for a second because logically it's an oxymoron.
How so?
How can a cage be free? Like, a cage is an enclosure. It restricts movement. It traps you. Why would anyone use the imagery of imprisonment to describe a release?
Well, to understand the cage, we really have to talk about the New York Dawn.
Oh, the walking story.
Yes. This is actually my favorite part of the interviews we read because it paints such a vivid picture.
Yeah.
Just imagine you are her for a second. You are living in New York. You've spent the last 3 years unable to walk outside to buy a coffee without someone shoving a phone in your face.
Nightmare.
Right. Your nervous system is constantly humming at a baseline level of threat. Every time you leave your apartment, you have to brace yourself.
So you're trapped in the ultimate cage of fame.
Yes, that is the literal cage. But then she flies back from London. She is severely jet-lagged. She wakes up at 4:30 in the morning and absolutely cannot go back to sleep.
I hate when that happens.
It's the worst. So she decides to just put on a coat and go for a walk. And think about your own experiences waking up horribly early in a major city.
It's weirdly peaceful.
Think about New York City at 4:30 a.m. It is completely empty. It's that bluish-purple light right before the sun comes up. And for the first time in years, she is walking around completely unencumbered.
No paparazzi.
No one is watching her. There is no anxiety, just total, private, beautiful isolation.
And then the guy walks up to her.
Right. She sees this random guy walking toward her on the empty sidewalk, and she instantly tenses up.
Of course she does.
She thinks, ugh, here we go. He's going to ask for a selfie. I have to perform. I have to be on. The cage is closing right back in.
But it doesn't?
No. He doesn't ask for a picture. He just walks past her, looks at her, and says, "You're so beautiful. Can I take you to dinner?"
Okay, this is where I want to push this entire idea into a thought experiment.
Okay, go for it.
What if that random guy on the street never talked to her?
Wait, what?
What if he just walked by in silence?
You really think this incredibly complex song about limerence hinges on one passing comment from a stranger?
I absolutely do.
Mm-hmm.
Look at her reaction to the story. She tells him, "No, but wow, thank you so much."
Yeah, she turns him down.
She rejects him outright. But then she walks away feeling this massive, overwhelming surge of joy and lightness.
Right, she goes home super happy.
She literally runs back to her apartment and sits down at her piano to write a song about being in total, desperate, unhinged limerence with someone else. Why did the act of rejecting a total stranger fuel a manic song about wanting her actual lover so desperately?
Let me sit with that for a second. Why does rejecting him fuel the fire?
Yeah, it's counterintuitive.
I think it's because it was a moment of pure string-free validation.
String-free, I like that.
Like, he didn't want Olivia Rodrigo, the pop star. He didn't want a trophy for his Instagram feed. He just saw a girl walking at dawn and thought she was beautiful.
Right, just a normal human interaction.
Exactly. It was a completely harmless, brief, human connection without any of the exhausting baggage of her fame.
It is validation without obligation.
Yes. She didn't owe him anything, and because her heavy, suffocating anxiety was already stripped away by the quiet of the morning, that tiny, unexpected spark of validation unlocked a massive burst of stored energy.
Okay, I see where you're going with this.
And what does your brain do with a sudden surplus of joyful energy when you are deeply in love?
You aim it at the person you want.
You channel it right into the fantasy of the person you actually want. She poured all of that sudden, unexpected lightness into the heavy, manic longing for her lover.
Which, honestly, perfectly explains the lyric, "You're a spark in the dark, and my clothes all caught aflame."
Oh, wow, yeah.
That dawn interaction with the stranger was the spark, but the fuel was already there, soaked into her clothes, just waiting to ignite.
That makes perfect sense.
But let's push this even further. I have another thought experiment for you.
Hit me.
What if the song had stayed a grand piano ballad?
Hmm. Well, she wrote it on that really expensive grand piano she bought for her New York apartment, right?
The one she felt super guilty about never using.
Right.
She buys this beautiful acoustic grand piano, feels incredibly guilty because it's just gathering dust. And then finally, in the last few weeks of living in that apartment, she gets this song out of it.
And it started as just her and the piano.
Exactly. It starts its life as a piano vocal. Inherently, a grand piano gives a track a sort of quiet, intimate acoustic quality. If she had left it there, the song would have matched the morning she wrote it in. Quiet, solitary, peaceful.
But the production notes show that Dan Nigro completely tore that acoustic vibe apart.
He did. They take this intimate piano ballad, and they intentionally pivot away from it. They decide they want to aim for what she described as an ultimate power ballad.
Right, and she specifically cited Meatloaf as an inspiration.
Meatloaf, the absolute king of theatrical, over-the-top, screaming into the rain rock ballads.
The drama is unmatched.
Unmatched.
Yeah.
And to get that vibe, they took her breathing acoustic piano track and they slammed these massive, rigid, heavy dance drums over the top of it.
Which is such a weird choice for a piano ballad.
It is. Now think about the how and why of that musical mechanics for a second.
Okay.
A human playing a piano breathes, right? The timing fluctuates slightly. It's organic.
Yeah, it has ebb and flow.
Exactly. But a heavy dance drum program is quantized perfectly to a grid. It is rigid, mechanical, and uncompromising.
So they don't match.
They don't match at all. When you force an organic piano into the rigid grid of a dance beat, your brain literally registers sonic friction. It feels physically uncomfortable to the ear, like something human is being crushed by a machine.
Oh, wow. The organic human heart trapped in a mechanical cage.
Yes. The meaning of the song actually requires this jarring sonic contradiction.
Because otherwise it's just a pretty song.
Exactly. If it stayed a piano ballad, it would just be a pretty song about quiet yearning. By turning it into a stadium anthem with rigid dance drums, it physically forces the listener to feel an internal system failure.
That is so cool.
The music itself has to become overwhelmingly huge and structurally conflicted to represent the absolute insanity of limerence that Annie Ernaux wrote about.
You know, if the music is mirroring a manic breakdown, it really explains why the physical recording process was such a nightmare for them.
Oh, right, the bridge.
Yeah. In the studio interviews, she said the instrumental bridge of this track was the absolute last thing they finished on the entire record.
The section right after she sings, "Every night like the one before, dream of you from like 1 to 4.
Yes, that part. They said they tried dozens of different versions of that bridge and hated all of them.
Doesn't.
Literally dozens. I kept reading those production notes thinking, why was a standard pop bridge giving two world-class musicians this much trouble? Like, why was this specific emotional transition so impossible to nail down?
You know what? I think I just realized why.
Wait, really? Why?
Look at the final result they landed on. When she plays this song for people, what is the #1 piece of feedback she gets?
They tell her it sounds like 3 completely different songs stitched together, but in a cool way.
Like Frankenstein's monster.
Yeah, exactly like that.
Because they were trying to write a standard pop bridge for a song about an emotional breakdown.
Oh my God.
You can't put a clean, smooth bridge on a fracturing mind.
No, you can't.
The structure of the song is the message. The reason they couldn't figure out the bridge is because the song is literally splintering apart. The artist is having a psychological breakdown, and the music is breaking down right along with her.
That makes so much sense.
It fractures into 3 separate pieces because it cannot hold its own shape.
The architecture is failing, just like the car without the brake.
Yes. The song is giving out under the weight of the emotion.
Which, honestly, that casts the title in a completely different light.
Stupid song.
Stupid song. I honestly always thought that was just a self-deprecating joke.
Right, like, oh, here's another silly little love song.
Exactly. You know, like, whatever, I wrote a stupid song.
Yeah.
But it's not a joke. It's totally literal. Think about the chorus. She screams, "I want you more than any stupid song could ever say."
Oh, wow. The song isn't joking, it's waving a white flag.
It is a total confession of powerlessness. She is trying to express this massive, overwhelming, Annie Ernaux level of neurochemical insanity.
And she can't.
She realizes that neither a quiet, intimate piano ballad nor a chaotic, loud, stitched-together rock anthem can actually hold it. The music fundamentally fails to capture the sheer terror of limerence.
And that failure is the point.
Yes. That failure, the inability of the art to contain the feeling, is the entire point.
That is genuinely incredible. The track is named after its own inability to do its job. It's throwing its hands up. It's saying, I am just a stupid song. I cannot hold all this wax melting and cars crashing and systems failing.
So we started out trying to figure out how a moment of absolute beautiful peace on an empty New York morning could birth a chaotic anthem about losing your mind.
And we didn't solve it at all.
Not at all. I feel like we haven't solved the mystery at all. We've just hit a really beautiful wall.
If anything, the mystery is deeper now. We are looking at a track about being hopelessly trapped by love, written in a moment of ultimate personal freedom.
It's such a paradox.
It is a piece of art that manages to express profound, earth-shattering emotion, specifically by boldly admitting that music itself is too stupid to handle the job.
It really makes you rethink how you process music. I want to turn this over to you sitting here listening with us. Think about your own favorite track.
Yeah, how do you hear them?
When you listen to Stupid Song now, what are you actually hearing? Do you hear the lingering joy and relief of that peaceful, unencumbered New York morning trying to shine through the organic piano chords?
Or do you just feel the manic terror of completely losing your mind to someone else in the crushing weight of those heavy dance drums?
It's both and neither. It's the organic and the mechanical constantly fighting each other for dominance.
It really is a fight.
And it leaves me with one final question, something I'm going to be mulling over all day, and I want you to think about it too. We spent all this time talking about how the rigid, mechanical pop structure of this song acted as a cage.
Right.
It was the mathematical framework she needed to safely process the feeling of completely losing her mind to Limerence.
The structure held the madness so she didn't have to.
Because she knows how to build a song.
Exactly.
But it makes you wonder if creating a rigid, stitched-together pop structure is the only safe way to process losing your mind. What happens to the rest of us who don't know how to write a song? Where do we put our madness?
Wow. Yeah. I'm going to need another coffee to figure that one out.
Me too. I'm definitely going to go listen to that bridge again. I just need to hear it fall apart one more time.